RadioColusa.com. Ladies and gentlemen, be prepared to be entertained. It's time for What's in That Yeti.
This is a place for crazy people.
With Danielle, Melissa, and Lloyd.
It's groundbreaking.
In the pee, in the punk, in the film.
Taking you shopping tomorrow, Mama.
Change the subject.
Why?
Let's gather around, fill those Yetis up, and let's have a good time.
Hey, Colusa, how's it going?
Hey, you're back.
Hello.
Melissa's back today, guys.
I'm so happy to be back, too. I missed you guys.
What? Sexy's in the house.
Oh, my God. We got a hot fire.
Without a stash.
I'm waiting for the calendar.
No kidding.
Yeah, so if you guys do a survey and we get enough
I would buy a calendar.
commitment to purchase it, I've got a lot of good pictures.
Man, we need Gabe as Mr. February. Gabe is Mr. February.
Oh, no,
all the way.
I'll share a photo here in just a little bit with you, and you might decide differently.
No, that stash is January. That's going to start off my year.
Oh, Dave, not Gabe.
Yes.
Whoa,
Dave will be January. Gabe will be February.
Yes.
The person who's talking is Logan Conley from the Colusa Fire
We should
Department.
introduce you.
Yes.
You guys been gone a month and you kind of forget.
He's the chief of the fire department.
Joe?
The chief.
Yeah, without a mustache, currently I'm less popular. If I
Are
need
you
to start
able
work on
to
that.
grow one?
Oh, I can. Yeah.
Why don't you?
It's thinner. And
It's not as cool.
Yeah,
as the other ones.
So my wife, before we were married and everything, I had a mustache, and she called it Pornstasio. I think you may remember that.
Yes, I love it. Bring back
amazing.
the 70s.
It's not a good look. It's similar to Kent's on his campaign signs.
Oh, Kent Post. That was a horrible. Yeah. Sorry, Kent. Brother from another
But
mother.
he has a pretty good stash
No, his is pretty good. His is actually way more robust than
But
mine
you know
is.
what? I just started using Latisse on my eyelashes so I could get bigger eyelashes.
Maybe you need some Latisse.
You can put some Latisse on your upper lip.
I heard castor
There you
oil
go.
and stuff like that is an
Yeah.
all-natural way to make things grow.
Yeah, this is very
Very
helpful.
true.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you just go to Amazon and buy the peel and stick ones and
Yeah, there
pop
you
one
go.
on. Yeah.
I've done that. I've done
That's
that.
true, but like a real stash. I mean, I feel like it's your
Nothing's like a good womb broom.
responsibility.
I'm just going to put it out there, okay? Yeah, everybody likes that, okay? Nothing like
I
that.
can't wait for Dave to log in and actually listen to this. He's going to get
He's going to be like,
good laugh out of it.
yes, womb
His
broom.
wife gets
And he's missing out. He's missing out on
Who
the...
wants a
know it.
mustache ride?
I don't know. Everybody, are you old enough? Are you tall enough?
See, they don't talk about this shit on the back
They
page.
don't because
No.
they're fucking lame.
I know. We're
No,
so
you're
much
not
better.
lame. You're not. Haley is
Haley's
not
cool.
lame.
Lloyd's cool.
Lloyd's cool. I don't know. Bo's, you're sketchy, all right? Don't be suspicious.
He is
Don't
kinda
be
sketchy.
suspicious.
Why isn't he here tonight?
He doesn't get invited on our
He's not on
show.
the show.
No.
He's not?
No.
No.
Oh.
No, he was actually trying to get on the show. Kept
I
on
kind of
asking
wish
me.
he was, because he would have talked shit to me and stuff, and it would have been fun.
It would have been
banter.
Williams versus
Or would
Colusa.
have talked crap. Sorry, Lloyd.
No, you're
Yeah,
good. You're
No,
good.
you can say shit on this show.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Shit, whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
We're good.
So on
I still feel awkward saying it.
You are the chief of police. You got to like set
Chief
up
No,
of- Chief
fire.
of police.
He's a
Chief of
fireman.
fire. Sorry. We need to get some policemen here too. We can have like
I'm sad
Have
that
you noticed
guys have
competitiveness?
still, well, actually, this one here has
Competitiveness.
scared off the police officers.
yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
have a good repertoire with Bradwell. I think Sasso. No?
I
He
think
won't
that
come on.
they're all waiting for the flashings. They're like, girls, you talked about it, but we haven't got any.
Do you notice that we have a very limited pool of guests on this show, and usually they're uniformed to some degree?
Yeah, this is my last one. Yeah. Yeah.
Shit. Like we
Shit. Damn it. More cuss word.
Maybe we can like ship them in.
I don't know. I haven't really found anybody that looks,
As good as Bradwell.
as good as Bradwell. Come on the show. You got to get
cute.
those uniformed people.
Ooh, what about
uniform,
Cooper?
but you guys all knew
Chris Cooper, he's
that I wrecked my
Yummy.
first car, right? Looking at a cop's ass.
yes.
Seriously?
But no, you have to say you
that's why
have
they
to tell them.
That's why they walk to the passenger side of the car now, because they can't be bent over on the driver's side, because Danielle will look at that shit and run into another car.
And
So
please
you
tell them
rear-ended a car looking at a rear
she
end.
did.
Fuck
No
yeah.
joke. Tell them which
Totaled
one it
that
was.
bitch. No,
Which
because
one
that's
was it?
embarrassing.
I
Which
know,
one
which
was
is
it?
awesome.
Uniform. Okay, first
Please
we're
tell
going to
me it
start
was
this off.
Was it a police
Yes.
officer?
Oh, yeah.
First, we're going to start this off with all uniform, but looks
Original
good. Okay,
gangster.
and because you're serving,
Was it Hughes?
you deserve your ass looked at. It was Ross.
Salacious.
Ross?
He loves me to this day. He pulls me over for no reason. I don't think he's even on the thing anymore. He'd pull me over in a civilian car if he could. He'd be like,
he's in Idaho now, I think. He's not even in California.
Oh, we better send this to him.
I'm going to be sending him a link for sure.
We need Idaho to listen to this shit now.
Yeah.
You know, I got pulled over yesterday.
You did?
Yes.
Again?
What for?
In Colusa.
Why?
Oh.
We went to adopt a kitten from the animal shelter. Thank you, Jenna.
God. Jenna's the shit.
I know, I got little lettuce.
More.
And we turned onto Market and got popped for the rear windows were too tinted.
They don't got nothing better to do, like,
and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Oh, no, get this though. So she pulls us over. It's the tattooy one.
She's really cool though.
She was really nice. But then we couldn't Damon was trying to get his insurance up on his phone and he couldn't get it. And she's
I hate that.
She's like, you guys look like you pay for your insurance. You can go. And I'm like,
she's all, I know you're going to make me sit here for like 30 minutes until your internet kicks in. And I really don't feel like it because it's hot as fuck and my ass is sweating. So you guys can just go, okay?
No, I feel like
pay your ticket. Goodbye.
She's
Danielle might run into another car.
officer.
I feel like
She's
she
a
got
really good
profiled
officer.
a couple times there, though. We got profiled.
Well,
and then she
a
saw
blonde-haired white woman behind a car that has dark tinting on the windows.
and then two kids in the back and a kitten.
Huh, you thug, you.
And then she's like,
Like,
go
hurry up,
She
ahead.
knew there was
Hurry up,
coke in
kids.
that car. She just freaking knew it. She's all,
Chemistry bumper
you're the
sticker.
smuggler, aren't
We
you?
keep the Coke in the kid's ass.
Yeah, it's in the kid's ass.
Yeah, they're our little mules.
It's in the diaper bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kitten, full of heroin.
Yeah, we just packed that shit. It's
Yeah.
really...
balloons.
Well, its name is lettuce. I mean,
That isn't a dope
salad.
name. I never heard one.
I don't need to.
But it was,
that.
yeah, she let us
It's the
go.
devil's lettuce.
Yes. But
I'm
she
just
let us go.
joking.
So that's nice. And she had fabulous eyelashes.
And she's really pretty.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah, I get away. I would let her get away with a
Lloyd,
lot
you
of
gotta
stuff
get
just
control
because
of
she's
this.
the cutest.
I'm gonna
trying.
start participating
I
in saying
am
things that are not
Okay.
chiefly, and it's just gonna ruin my reputation.
Yes, he's all. I can't say that she's
Logan,
cute.
you're here to talk about
Sexual
volunteering
harassment.
for the fire department. So you guys
Yes.
are needing volunteers. Actually, probably departments across the state is looking for it.
Nationwide, everybody's looking for
Yeah, go get on
volunteers
that
right
calendar,
now.
boys.
Would I get to
Yeah.
spoon with all of you?
Spoon?
Spoon.
Well, we got a couple that might allow
I wanna
it, but
snuggle.
we only have a couple single
I
ones.
just want to snuggle. I've heard that for
They get taken
years.
quick.
Yeah.
Years.
Yeah, no, that they're hot on the market. As soon as they get on the roster, they're taken.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know. I've been asked. I was asked.
I know.
I've been asking Logan to hook me up for years.
I know, but I didn't have any good candidates.
Nothing. And I think you
No,
were
I didn't have any
help.
good ones at the time.
You know what? I'm his neighbor,
help.
and I have no luck. So
I was
Yeah.
his
Here's
neighbor.
girlfriend for,
Yeah.
for the pain is real. Okay.
All she gets out of it is her and her friends get to sit out and drink beer and watch
Yeah,
my
whenever
guys and I
he-
cut
Which is
trees.
super fun.
Dude, get this.
Yeah.
Okay, so he cut down this tree in front of his yard. Right, like not like cut it down all the way. Okay, tree commission, don't come after me. All right,
No,
I'm
I
on that
saved
shit.
it
You are the
actually.
tree
I cut
commission.
the disease
But
out of the top of it.
He
Oh,
went
nice.
And he got like a fresh chainsaw and cut this thing and made sure that it was going to still be there. And then I'm like, oh my God, firemen cutting down a tree. I called 3 of my friends like right then. I said, bitches, get over here. There's firemen cutting down a tree.
Right?
No
This
shit.
is no joke.
5 minutes later, I had 3 beezies with me. We had a 12 pack and we were sitting on the front step. We had like,
Just
like
watching you cut down the
Yes.
tree.
Yeah.
I called his
I
wife and
love
I said,
that.
hey, Carrie, I apologize for us drooling, but we're going to watch your husband
think
and his
she
friends for a
appreciates
few
it.
minutes,
No,
okay?
she does. She quickly
She
tried to
likes
run him
it.
over with her car.
Oh,
after that.
God.
Yeah, it was-
Next thing you know, she took that brand new white car and it was in my yard.
When I moved in next door to Logan, I purposely set
That's
off
right.
my smoke alarm,
Yeah, I
like
was single at-
thinking that maybe he'd come save me.
I was
He fu-
single
and he-
at the time too.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like,
You're like,
I
no,
just moved into the
he's
best
at the
house
department.
ever.
I don't even know what he drives.
No,
That is kind of ironic,
Carrie
right? They were
snagged you.
both my neighbors at one
That
time.
is
Yeah.
very ironic.
Yeah.
it is weird.
This interview
Only
is
people
slanted
on
and-
Oak
and
Street are
my
cool.
favor or not, I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So what is it that you guys
Oak
are
Street.
looking for?
Oh, yeah.
You have to be to be a
I'm
firefighter.
trying to get back on that
No,
track here.
Can I
Thank you,
just say
Lloyd.
that my preferred fireman would be about between like 25 and 35. You need to be about like 5'7" to 6 feet tall.
5'7" to 6. I mean,
I feel like 5'7".
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Lloyd,
that would be great.
I've got to be quicker with my responses because holy crap, you know, like
She's gonna start
Welcome
some
to
old
our
qualifications
show.
there.
yes, Chief Danielle is just firing them off.
I have like expectations and a calendar
so-
to put together.
We're looking for volunteers that, I mean, essentially have the time to dedicate to the fire department, their training in order to, do the job safely. There is a lot of time commitment for the training. It's roughly 80 hours ish. Sometimes people can do it in less if they catch on to it quick or have any previous experience.
80 hours a week.
80 hours for their initial
training.
Training,
Okay.
correct.
And what length of time do they have to complete that in?
We like to see it within 6 months to a year.
Oh,
Okay.
geez.
That's not
Perfect.
bad.
Yeah.
Most of our younger people that are single that have the availability in their work schedule, they can complete it in 6 to 8 months very easily. So once you complete your training, then you would graduate, and then we slowly work them into responding to calls with our career staff to make sure that there's a lot of things that happen on the scene that you don't train for.
Yeah.
It's
most
a very
definitely.
dynamic environment when you're out there responding to calls. So we try to make sure that people get all the training they need before they're totally set loose on the engine.
And so that would just be for your volunteer firefighters, right?
Correct. Our career staff also, we do weekly trainings for the career staff and the volunteers. It's a combined training that we do every Wednesday night. That ranges anywhere from 2 to 4 hours on most training nights. There are some Wednesday nights where it extends out past that, depending on what type of training we're doing. Usually it's live fire trainings. The wildland training tends to take a little longer.
What kind of candidate is most what you're looking for? Like, are you looking for someone who, goes to the bar every night, has a couple of felonies,
Who isn't looking for that guy?
And,
Yes.
what kind
Melissa's
of
into face
qualifications
tattoos.
is someone thinking that?
Yeah, so besides
face
the
tattoos.
tattoos, of course, and then this is all a joke, but then obviously the white female in the car with the cat and children that were stolen in the back seat.
yeah.
Usually we frown upon. We don't want that.
Yeah.
for
Sorry,
drug
Melissa.
I'm out.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, when people volunteer for our department, they're responding to calls or they're out in the community with their fire t-shirt on. The community doesn't view the career staff or the volunteer staff any differently.
No.
When they see the fire t-shirt, you assume that person's a firefighter, and rightfully so. It's the respect that volunteers genuinely deserve, in my opinion, because they're out responding to calls, doing our job that we do to get paid for, right? So they're doing it just genuinely to help the community, and there's no employment connected to it. So yes, they are considered to be a firefighter when they're out in the community. So we want people that are mature enough to conduct themselves in a professional manner, in a way that is going to shine a positive light on our department. Because everybody in the community, they may only interact with us one time. We don't know.
Most definitely, yeah.
And if they interact with us that one time and it's negative, it could be at the grocery store.
Yep.
And somebody in a fire t-shirt acts inappropriately or is rude to somebody, they all of a sudden assume that everybody on the fire department
Is that way.
Yeah. So it is important that people that join, that they have a clean background, at least as of recent, within, a reasonable amount of years. We have had volunteers before that have had prior history, but for the last 5-10 years, their history was
cleaned
clean.
up and
They changed their lifestyle. They changed who they were. And I think that everybody that puts
Deserves a
that
second
effort in
chance.
deserves a second
Yeah,
chance.
sure.
Yeah.
So,
People change.
we're not super picky other than that part of it. Being a good person and genuinely caring about your community and people that are in your community. That's the main thing that you need.
What does a volunteer firefighter do? Like, when are they on schedule? What do they do? What do they respond to? Like, do they man the station? Like, how does that work? What are their
Currently
job
right
duties?
now, because I'm on shift today. I'm supposed to be on the engine, but I'm here doing this interview with you
This
guys.
is way more important.
Yeah, way more important.
Yeah.
Way more entertaining.
Sorry, people.
Gotta
With
get rid of
houses
this.
on
hasn't gone
fire.
off, so
Yeah.
That's good.
Thankfully.
So that could happen, and
It
you
could
would
happen.
have to bail.
Yes, I'll try to remember to take off the headset before I run out the door so it doesn't slinky me back in. But, right now I have 3 of my volunteers staffing the engine right now while I'm out. Once they reach that point of training where they can be set loose on the engine by themselves and they've proven that they can handle the different types of calls and they've achieved a certain amount of training, they can staff the station. I always have one of the career staff shift workers or myself on call to make sure that, if it is a large scale incident, structure fire, a large vehicle accident, or childbirth, for that matter, right? That's not. It sounds like it's like one.
Yeah, but we don't
one
have a
person,
birthing unit in Colusa,
but
so they have to get
technically
these
two. Yeah.
babies all the way to
I like how
Colusa
you
to be
said,
born.
"Aw," and I wanted to say, "Ew."
But
No, I think that's cool that they're like, oh, we got to get this mom here. She's going to have a baby. you
yeah,
know?
it's the scariest call. Like
I bet.
I don't ever want to get that call. Yeah, and I've been with the
then
department
you
since
know the person?
2003, and I have yet to have to deal with that call. Some of my shift
Knock on
guys
some
have.
Do you like pawn it off on like some volunteer? Like,
Yeah,
well,
I'm just monitoring the traffic. Like I ain't touching that.
There you go, bud. Here you
I'm
go.
busy.
Well, and it's sad. It's like our hospital. I don't even think they have a maternity ward anymore.
No, they don't.
No, that's
And I
correct.
mean, that's what 4 or 5 years ago when they closed that up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
when I
so-
had Ethan, I had to go all the way to Yuba City to have him because they didn't have a
Yeah.
birthing
Yeah,
unit
because
No, I
here.
did
if there's
too.
a kid coming, there ain't no stopping them.
Oh my! And you think that you're gonna have that thing about halfway when you're like, oh, this is so
know.
bad, and you're like,
There
it's-
was road construction
This is
too
awful.
when I was on the way to Yuba City. It was bad.
And Logan, you've done great things for this department with your volunteers. If you didn't have volunteers, you wouldn't be able to go on strike, right?
Yeah, so by having our volunteers, it's more than just being able to go on strike team and help out with the other fires in the state. Without the combination of our volunteers and career staff, neither of us could do the job. We're very reliant on each other, both sides of it, and that's one reason why I say they're not any different than the shift guys. Other than the shift guys,
They're doing the same job.
They have the privilege of being paid to be a firefighter, right? They don't have a second job.
Not 24 hours, but they're there all the time with their shift. With the volunteers, they have their lives, they have their
Correct.
jobs, they
Yeah.
have their careers, but when in time and need, they're there and
there to
available.
help. So
How does that work with their job? So if they become volunteers and they already have a job, do they have protections for their
there is,
current
if there's
job?
a state of emergency, there's laws in place that can protect them to be able to not lose their job.
Oh, perfect.
It gets challenged, I think, sometimes, especially nowadays. Employers have fewer employees and expect more out of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Isn't that the truth?
And every hour it's money lost if you let your employees go. But I got off track and I was talking about what the volunteers and career staff
Sorry.
and how we complement each other. No, it's
I'll
fine.
talk for days.
Freaking jibber
Oh.
jabber
I know
over
over
there.
here. Shoo.
Because, take a structure fire, for example, right?
Yeah.
So you need at least a minimum of 2 guys to be able to go in the house. Okay. And then you need 2 more people outside the house. They call it 2 in, 2 out, right? So you have 2 people outside the house to help the people inside. If something happens, they can go in and rescue. You need an additional 2 people, if those 2 go in, to replace the 2 out, right? So it just keeps compounding. You need more and more people.
How many people are on your staff?
So I'll get to that.
So, like,
Yeah. So
they
I'm
go
all
in.
like trying to mathematically add all this up. I'm like, oh my God, does this even work here? Am I going to
For
die?
a structure fire, worst case scenario, if you're 2 guys that are outside the house have to go in for any reason or do another assignment on the other side of the house, you still have to have 2 more people ready to go. So that's an equal of 6, right?
Oy.
6 firefighters.
Yeah.
For one incident, you still have to have your incident commander, safety officer. You have to have somebody running the pumps, and the list just keeps going on
And
and on.
do they
and on.
all have to be different, or can one person kind of have
You probably
multiple
do the
roles?
couple
or-
hats.
One person can do multiple roles in the short term, like in the beginning of the incident, but by
Waiting
the end,
for
by
other-
the end of the incident, it's at full growth and there's the fire's growing. You need to be able to split it off into assignments, one assignment per individual for everybody's safety. If I'm
Yeah.
trying to play the incident commander, operations officer, and then also being accountability and safety,
You're going to miss something.
Yeah, I think I listed that right. Incident commander, operations, and then safety. You're going to miss something. Somebody's going to get hurt, or you're not going to see a potential hazard where your guys are entering into a building and then them get hurt. So it does require a lot of people. And the risks are there for all of us. Is, the fire, you'll hear fire guys say the fire doesn't care if you're paid or not, right? Yeah. You're there to do that job. So it's the utmost importance that we protect everybody that's inside that building and around that environment. So it does require an army to really tackle some of these calls that we have.
Well, then when you have some of those big ones, that's when you call out for the backup from other mutual aid and auto aids.
Yeah. So, but just internally with our department, we have roughly 20 people on the roster at any given time. Cool. This last year has been really hard because we lost 5 of our people to CAL FIRE. I just got notified that one of my guys went to CAL FIRE now is going to be moving, which is a bummer. He was one of my young rock stars, so it was just really active. So he's going to be moving away, and I have a feeling we'll probably lose a few others eventually.
So do a lot of people volunteer as a means to move on to do it professionally?
Some people do.
Probably get a little taste of it and then like it.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's a mixed bag. Sometimes, it's usually the people that come in from the academy and want the experience time being a volunteer on the department, and then they move on. Example of somebody that didn't really think that they were going to be a paid guy was myself. I started as a volunteer, and all of my career staff right now all started out as volunteers, which is a big benefit because we know where
their heart is.
Yeah, we came from that.
That's
that
always
side
nice.
Of it. But yeah, I started out in 2003 as a volunteer, and then was offered to work seasonal per diem work. I did that. One of the career guys ended up going out on injury, so then I backfilled his shift. Long story short, somehow I became the fire chief. But yeah,
that's good.
a lot of hours put in.
You have done a great job. The whole transportation thing that you've done. When the county didn't have an ambulance, and they were not sure. They were, how the hell are we going to get people back and forth when they're like having a heart attack or something that Colusa can't handle or whatever? You figured it out.
I know.
With strike team money.
Problem solving.
Well, and it makes sense. I mean, when you have that vehicle where you guys are on shift and you can take that person 2-3 blocks away to the hospital instead of having to wait for an ambulance to come all the way from Williams or Arbuckle if they got dismissed from an event or whatever. And
it's coming in handy a lot. And I know that anytime we've used it for the community, they're very grateful. Rather than sitting at their house for 30 to 50 minutes waiting for an ambulance, we can load them up and just take them really quick. The one downside for some people, if they don't want to go to Colusa Hospital, we have to take them there. It's the closest receiving facility. We have to get them to a higher level of care as quickly as possible. And especially because we're EMT, we're not paramedics. But it is effective and it works quite well.
It's something where there was nothing.
And we've tried to put similar models into place years back. Before I even became a volunteer, I know that Randy, the previous chief, he had a rescue unit that could also transport patients by BLS. I'm not sure if they used that one, just because I wasn't here for that part of the history.
I think it got used once, because I remember me and Susan were actually just talking about that today. We were going through some old stories and came across that, and we got discussing it. And I think it got used once, and then it was because of the, like you said, the EMT thing. Yeah, it required a paramedic or something on it because of the way that it was classified or something. That particular vehicle.
Randy was on the right track. I mean, he had a really good program set up, and we even had a volunteer paramedic that was able to respond in and go to calls.
That is not an easy job.
It's hard enough to volunteer, but then also put in the time as a paramedic. The medical
aspect of it is a very scary situation.
And then we went and purchased another ambulance later. This would have been, trying to remember back now. It was right at the first reduction of the ambulance. Do you remember when that was, Lloyd? It was more than that. Let's see. 7-8 years ago.
Would have been roughly 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went and purchased a box unit, and the county also helped with some of the funding to purchase that. So we split between strike team funding and the funding the county gave towards it.
Thank goodness you did have that.
And so that one was great, but the problem was it was a very large box unit. and we couldn't use it as a command vehicle. It didn't have a dual purpose. And so we would have to wait for volunteer or off-duty shift guys to come and staff it. So you're looking at a 10, 15-minute delay just to get it to the house here in Colusa. And then you're at like 10, 15 minutes waiting for that ALS ambulance at that point.
And you're so big about right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're only going to gain, a few minutes on the end time, is it really worth transporting them, or should we wait for the ALS unit? Mm-hmm. ALS definitely is a superior service, and at no point should we ever not have it, in my opinion. But, we never used that unit because it took so long to get it staffed and back out to the call when we needed it.
Yeah. Because it was volunteered.
Yeah. Now with the SUV or alternate transport unit that we converted and had fabricated, it works seamless. We can show up to a call, load somebody up within a matter of a couple minutes, get them to the hospital in 2-3 minutes. Perfect. It's like 5-10 minutes and they're in the hospital receiving help from the doctors there in the ER. So
it's so much easier.
Yeah, I'm really proud of it, but at first everybody, and I don't blame them, everybody in the county thought I was totally off my rocker, especially my own guys. Rick Wilmoth, one of my old captains, and Paul Harmon, who was our division chief, a year ago.
Yeah.
They came in for a Wednesday night training, and I had one of my shift guys and we decided to gut it, right? So we gutted the whole thing, pulled all the seats, all the interior out, and then put a sheet of plywood in the back. Right?
Oh my gosh, they were so scared.
And, I was like, dude, this is our new ambulance. Check it out. And I had an old gurney we rolled in there. And then we had an old gurney there at the station. And so I rolled that gurney up, put it in there. I'm looking at the guys. I'm like, dude,
it works.
This is so perfect. This is going to be awesome. And they all kind of looked at me cross-eyed like,
you're out of your damn mind.
Yeah. And then Paul and Rick walked in. Uh-huh. And they didn't even know what to say to me because I was I was probably a year and a half into being the fire chief.
Yeah, what the hell did we just do?
Yeah, they're like, city council made a big mistake here. We should not have hired him. But it's worked out perfect though.
No, you got to think outside the box, and especially when you don't have a lot of funding. Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah, sometimes you just have to get creative.
So for everyone that's listening, it's not plywood anymore.
No, it's actually very nice.
We had it fabricated by Boggs here in Colusa, and he has a welder there, an employee that welded it all up for us, and it's an aluminum, basically an insert that goes into the vehicle that's permanently attached. So there's a medic seat in the back with the gurney, all of our med bags and our gears in there. So
cool.
Instead of a Ford van showing up to load you in, it's a Ford Expedition.
Yeah,
so
Ford Expedition.
There you go.
I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, if you're in a need, you're not going to worry about.
I don't care.
Yeah. It's been nice too, because with it being 4-wheel drive and you can go off road with it too. We've had one call recently where we had to drive off the top of the levee and go down by the river. And load somebody up and get them back up to the top and over to the hospital.
Wow.
So it is convenient. We're actually looking at a new unit to be fabricated. The next one will be even more functional, I think, because this was kind of a trial thing. And that whole project will also be funded through our strike team efforts. And so no cost to the citizens on that.
And is that going to replace what you have now, or are you going to have just
and added to
a couple? Yeah,
it'll replace it. And then there's also been talk about possibly donating it to another fire agency in the county if they're wanting to staff it. I know that Stony Ford, being so remote.
Stony Ford needs something like that.
Needs something like that.
That's still being talked about at our ambulance meetings and stuff.
Oh, great.
So it does look like that's going to be kind of a long-term project as far as the ambulance issues going on and having enough. It's not going to be fixing time soon. So
that's going.
I couldn't be more proud of my guys putting in the extra on-call hours and stuff too, because it's at every single call. 100% of the calls we have transport and firefighting capabilities and rescue capabilities right there as your initial response. So
I truly believe that needs to be at every single department. I mean, Arbuckle, Williams, they all need to have something similar to it.
And it's easy to staff.
Yeah.
You can staff an alternate transport vehicle with an EMR, which is a step down from a EMT. So and it can be used as a duty vehicle. So the chiefs can drive it anybody.
What a cool thing to have,
Sorry,
though,
no
and to be able
cussing,
to transition that to other counties or cities that we have around here, like Ladoga and Stony Ford and stuff like that don't really have anybody or anything up there.
Yeah, and they have really a long way to go to get help, and they don't have time to wait for an ambulance to go up.
And if they already have it there, then they could just be like, woo,
right?
You know,
and the majority of the calls are not really all the, the heart attacks or anything like that. A lot of times there's someone fell. They have some illness stuff. So there isn't really a need for someone who can, triage someone or something like that. Yeah. So, having those light transports, it definitely helps the ambulance situation, which we've been working on a project for the last couple of months on the ambulance story. It has actually been going on since the 1980s, 1985 to be exact.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We pulled some Board of Supervisors minutes from those years, which are quite interesting.
Were they handwritten?
No, they were typed on a typewriter.
Old-timey minutes.
It was kind of interesting, but I mean, even back then, they were talking about the ambulance problems, and they actually almost did a tax at that time, which I'm still trying to look into. I actually need to talk to an individual about the background who was in that at the time, because they went to the voters and they asked, do you want a tax? And the voters voted yes, but it wasn't an actual measure. It was a inquiry.
It was an inquiry. It wasn't actually like a poll.
It was a poll. It wasn't an actual proposition.
It wasn't an actual vote.
It was like, hey, would you be interested if we decide to, move forward? And everybody said yes. And then something happened from that point on.
Somebody thought about this way back when.
Yep. And because, we're too small, but so if someone is interested in becoming a firefighter and
contact Logan.
We keep getting off track, Lloyd.
It's a shit show. What do you expect?
Though.
I have ADD, you know that, right? So this environment is just it's not conducive
all of
for
us here. So.
We all do. And it's okay. That's why the listeners love us, because they're like, oh, they're weird. They're going to get off track and they're going to say something like, oh, shit.
Well, and you provided some great information, some great insights. So
Danielle's going to have Tourette's.
Yeah,
was really interesting.
If somebody's interested in volunteering, they're more than welcome to come to our fire department at 750 Market Street. Let's see here. Let me say this in a right way. We're the fire department across from Ace Hardware, if you don't know your addresses. So, we're right there on Market Street. And we're staffed 24/7, so you guys can come in anytime and get an application. If you don't want to come in, or if you're too busy, you can also go to the city's website, and we have an application online at cityofcolusa.com. And when you fill that out, it goes directly to my email, and I can contact the applicant. So it's convenient and easy to even apply. But yeah, if you're over the age of 18 and you're physically healthy enough to perform firefighter duties,
how much would they need to lift?
I don't have that on me. I don't really want to go on record.
Okay, I don't want to go on record and say
could you drag me out of the building?
Huh?
Yeah. Well, oftentimes
I'm 150. I'm really 160 because I lie. But
I would say if you could lift up a 50-pound box without a problem, you would probably be okay to perform many of the tasks. Yes, we've had several female volunteers over the years, and they've all worked out really well. Unfortunately, they end up getting married to other firefighters that don't live in Colusa.
Wait a second. I feel like you could have told me that.
Why didn't I go volunteer sooner?
Those are the ones that are stealing all your single firefighters.
Why didn't I go volunteer sooner?
I could have thrown a hose around and helped out.
I know you were intimidating, so I was like, she can't volunteer. It's just no way.
Yeah, I would eat you guys for breakfast.
He knew. He'd be like, she'd just be putting all them fires out.
She'd be starting fires.
All the guys would be walking around, keep cocking, right? All of a sudden, our chests are all stuck out.
She'd just walk across the ground, and then flames would be behind her.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as long as you're physically healthy, and then obviously can dedicate the time, and even for those that don't want to be a firefighter and do the actual job, there's also support work too. We have an auxiliary group that helps run our firefighters associations, a nonprofit through the
I want to
fire
do
department.
that. I want to help you.
Do you get a uniform?
I want a uniform.
You actually do now.
I want a uniform. That's the only way I'm going to do it.
So in the years past, they never had uniforms, right? And then Roger Hickle, everybody knows Roger Hickle, right? He's been on our department since I joined. And he shows up to so much stuff. And I got tired of putting him in a fire coat. And so, so I was like, all right, dude, I got to get you guys uniforms. And we had a department photo done. And that was the other reminder, too. So they're actually working on getting a uniform ordered, kind of a sample set for the auxiliary group too.
The auxiliary too.
So,
that's neat. Because that's an incentive. Like
it really is.
I want to wear it.
You even get a badge.
You get a badge.
Yeah.
Well, it shows the firemen too that they're supported.
But other people will.
Like you won't.
Okay, Logan. Okay. Thanks for nothing.
If you can grow a mustache, then you can have a badge.
Mustachio. Oh, that's what I was going to say. If
Give her a couple of days.
wants to go see an A-class mustache, he was supposed to be here today.
No,
and he wasn't. So here's my 5 minutes of like, haha. Dave, if you could be rescued by Dave, this man could rescue with his mustache.
Okay.
It's so cool.
So we've got, I have a new volunteer that just joined not too long ago. He actually came in with all of his training done. His name is Dominic. And when the 4th of July fire happened, right, there was only 3 of us at home. You know, a lot of the volunteers that we had were out on other fires or on vacation or committed to work. And so I had this applicant sitting there, and he's not local. Normally, we prefer to get people that live within the city limits. A lot of a big reason for that is so we're not taking away from other jurisdictions' volunteer pool.
Oh,
right?
That's nice.
So if I start taking volunteers from Williams or Arbuckle or
then that's mean.
Other places, it takes away from their pool of volunteers. But so Dominic lives a ways away.
Fireman.
But I called him because he already had all of his training done. We all knew him because he's been at some of our fire trainings we've had here locally, and so he has his firefighter too, his EMT, everything's all trained. So I called him up and I'm like, dude, your application is accepted. Can you please come down, meet with me? We'll do a run through on our equipment, you know. So I did a quick in service with him, and then I kept him with me for the first day or so, and he kind of he fit in really well with our group. So I don't even know where I was going with this story now.
Mustache. Dave.
Well, he doesn't have a mustache.
Then why did you bring it up?
Yeah, because I said Dave has an A-class mustache.
Dave's mustache.
No, you got me off track.
And he could save me with his mustache.
I think Dominic needs to grow a mustache.
Anyways, Dominic does not have a mustache, and the fun fact. The poor kid doesn't shave yet.
Oh, he's a baby.
That's where you were going.
He's a baby.
That was where you were going because you have the babies of the fire department, and then you probably have this master stash over here.
Yeah, but it reminds me.
This is what you can be someday.
It reminds me of me
you'll have this womb broom.
When I first joined, I would shave a whisker every couple months. And I was 18. But so I was stunted on my facial growth too.
Little baby.
Still?
Yeah.
You just need some Latisse.
But we said castor oil and
Latisse.
We'll
get some biotin supplements.
Anyways,
don't drink it.
This is where I was going with that story because I said I forgot what I was saying.
Okay, now he remembers.
So Dom, he was one of the volunteers. Actually, he's staffing a department tonight with us, and he didn't know what to do. He had all his daily chores done, and I was showing him some pictures that we had from previous years on strike team and trainings and different things. And so him and Goomer and myself decided to print them out and make a photo wall.
It's not Goomer's dad, Bo, right? Yeah. Bo has a stash too.
So we made the photo wall. Here, you can see it in there. But if you zoom in on the photo wall, it's pretty cool. It's a collage of all of our, it has probably 3-4 years of photos.
Like, it's like stash after stash after
but
stash.
Yeah, there's one in there, though, that's recent. Here, I can find it for you. I just don't want to step too far away from my mic.
Goomer's getting a good one, too.
No, I know. Yeah, we have a lot of talented people.
Yeah, we got a lot of hairy talent.
So you need to make sure, as a member of the press, you need to make sure that
See what I said?
Let me see.
This mustache could save you.
Well,
like, if you were falling off of a cliff, he'd throw his chin down and you would hang off the side of it.
Fun fact.
Is that now?
That's now. That was on the Dixie fire.
Oh my god!
When he took that picture, but
his wife's Christy, right?
Yes,
Christy,
yes.
yeah.
Oh my gosh! Have you seen their
daughter's
3 beautiful daughters?
She was my daughter's Girl
that
Scout
stash.
leader.
He grew that stash to intimidate every man in the world.
Hell yeah!
Stay away from his daughters.
Don't you fucking
But you know
Don't
what?
you do it.
Yep.
So I'll tell
I know.
tell a secret though. I think it's dyed because I remember it more gray.
Oh, watch how we're getting
It
the tea.
died?
Yes,
I think
spill
so.
it.
I can't
spill
tell because he
it.
doesn't have any hair on his head. He shaves his head.
I'm gonna ask
but
his
I think he
wife.
dyed it. Yeah. That's why it's so robust.
That's okay.
I don't care. It's still a phenomenal stash.
I thought when you said it died, like it's
No, it
deceased.
didn't.
That's what I was thinking too.
And
No,
then
it
he's
didn't.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a phenomenal stash. I don't even care.
Oh, that
like
happened?
it's so much of a presence.
Yeah.
It has
Yeah.
a life of its own.
It really does. Like, we should name his mustache because
So-
it's so cool. This man would scare
Yep.
fires with his mustache. I bet you Chuck
that is a
Norris is
mustache.
intimidated
I know, right?
by his
He doesn't
mustache.
even need a hose.
Yeah,
So
he
this-
doesn't even need a hose. He walks in and he like goes like flicks his little cheeks and like he blows the fire away.
The other thing you got to be careful though is that you get hot on these fires. We went to Lake County to help out with one of their fires,
And they burn.
Yes, yeah. It was part of a county task force, and so we responded up there. Right, I stayed at the station covering because, well, that's my gig, I guess. But he comes back and his eyebrows look super trimmed and manicured and stuff. And then on one side, it shriveled up his mustache. He got so hot, it burnt part of his mustache and just manicured
The
his eyebrows.
devastation his poor family had when he came home. They were like, we don't know
I heard that's
you.
a
You don't
great way to
represent
shave.
us.
Yeah, no, I've heard that too.
You don't want
Lloyd,
it
this
too
is
short.
a hot mess. You know that, right? If I bring in a volunteer from this,
Welcome.
it's going to be a miracle.
They
I don't
are
know if
going
I
to
want that
love this
applicant.
show. You know you're going to be listening to this with your
Hey,
voice,
this
and they're
is
going to be
so
like,
cool.
yes, everybody, Dave's stash. That's what you all have to live up to,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Everybody, be this.
Start a stash
Have
challenge. where
3
who can
beautiful
drive-
women
who
and
can grow
beautiful
the
wives
silliest
and a
mustache.
stash
How
like
about
that.
this? If I can start a stash off, would you guys welcome like 6 of my guys?
Hell
in here?
yeah.
If you guys want an
With the
entertaining...
mullets, because your boy's got some mullets right now.
No, they all shaved them.
No.
They're clean cut now,
Why
yeah.
did they do that?
Because I told them to.
Oh, they do what I
I
say.
was so
Yeah.
feeling that.
Yeah, it's
I
like...
really was.
Roadhouse, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very much Swayze. Yeah.
God, he's coming
Yeah.
in to clean things up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
cleaning
is coming
house
in
here.
to clean
Yep.
things up. You know.
No, I really do
That was
think
sad.
like if you guys invited a few, when we're all home, if we had a few of my guys, it would, the dynamic you see between all of us, you know, it's
Okay, do this.
it's pretty incredible.
Do you even know who you're talking to?
You hear people
Can I
say like,
bring
oh, it's like a
more-
big family. It truly is like a
yeah.
big,
No, seriously.
it's like a bunch of
$20
brothers
for
and
the best
sisters when we have our
mustache,
sisters.
Not Dave, because we already know he wins them all. But like anybody but him can be involved.
You missed the other photos in here. Look at this.
But like $20.
No, look.
Like grow it out.
Okay.
And Goomer, like the ones that already have them, like that are A-class stashes, can't take part in this.
So
I kind of
wait,
feel
look
like
at
you
this.
all have to start with a clean slate.
like they
Wait,
all
you
need
gotta
to
do
shave it.
the same day.
Yeah.
Here's the old versus the new picture. So this was one that we took, I think, 3 years ago.
See, why do we not
Yes.
have a calendar?
I know. I've been kind of wondering, Logan.
this.
No, I mean,
I would totally buy one.
And
were
Grace's
all- we
leg
were
hairs
all
look so
working
good
out then.
singed in that
You
picture.
guys
They
need
have like
to
fireman
start
shorts.
working out again.
And then hold on here. I'm going to show
She
you.
says you need to start working out
I'm going
again.
to show you the new photo here. One
You gotta
second.
stop.
So
Enough
Damon,
with the filth.
if you're listening,
Sorry,
October is coming
Damon.
around the corner.
I love you,
There's
Damon.
some
Damon,
costume
oh my
stores.
god, this
Go
is
get
actually
yourself a
really
firefighter
sexy
costume.
right here.
He
Okay,
would look so good.
like we got some actual
Wait,
muscles
I'm
here.
sorry. They're not listening to you.
Man
Oh.
bodies,
not.
and, like they kind of have some dad bodies
You can
going on.
edit, you can edit some of this, right?
Dad body though.
But you know what? I'll take a dad body if they are financially secure and know themselves, and they can take you to dinner.
They get
If
major
you're a dipshit,
points.
you better
though.
have a fucking six
You
pack.
get points for being a firefighter because you're a hero. You're a goddamn hero.
Seriously,
All right.
they get like 50
Okay,
points
I
for
think-
a firefighter.
I think-
Fuck yeah,
Dan-
uniform.
Yeah.
He's trying to
Sorry.
reel us in
Rein
here.
it in. Rein it in.
There's usually during the month of November. I think it's called
No shave.
Movember or something like that.
Yeah.
Mustache
Yeah.
November.
Don't they
Yeah.
grow beards?
And so for November's show, while we work a thing with the Colusa
Yeah,
Fire,
like a no shave November.
Let's do it. Yeah.
If they
And
want
we'll
to
have a
pitch in,
contest.
we'll have a contest.
I would like that. Yeah. Can we have Kent on that one?
Oh, yeah, we'll bring Kent on.
Okay,
how about this?
Take bets on who's the winner, and then they can win like a 50-50, and then like the half of it goes to the animal shelter, half of it goes to their hairy stash.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
I like
what'd
that.
you say?
Like,
I didn't hear it all.
If we can take bets, the community can take bets on whose stash is best.
Okay.
And they can you got to put your money up front, like, hey, I bet that this guy's going to $10,
so
put your money where your mouth or
whatever.
Get pledges.
Yeah, pledges. Okay.
They can, they can accumulate pledges. And then at the end, 50, do like a 50-50 thing. Half of it goes to their stash. Half of it goes to like a charity of their cause. We should let them pick.
We should do a documented fresh shave right at the beginning of it because I'm going to cheat. If we don't, I promise you, I'll cheat. And I'll start growing it now.
We're going to go find an old picture of Logan where he doesn't have hair on his face.
Can we shave you?
Ooh,
I'm
you're
weird?
like almost married.
No.
Like that's weird.
And
I'm very people. Okay, like
sorry.
Liability, no thank you.
Too far.
We don't want to have to
Too
actually
far.
call the fire department.
I am not going to let Lloyd shave my face.
I would sponsor you to do that.
If he went in his Costa Rican outfit.
No.
Yes.
That's long, burnt up. No.
Speedo. Shave Logan.
So we'll have to work out the details and get that going for November since we have a couple months.
So people, find local firemen that you want to grow a stash and then totally get behind them and be like, I'll pledge for you.
Yeah, I think we should try to get one person from each department in the county. Honestly,
that would be cool.
That would be cool.
Good.
That would be really competitive.
County wars.
Yeah, we'll be sitting there trying to push those hairs out with the oils.
Castor oil and Lettuce.
Yeah. I'm serious. And then you guys will be eating your ginkgo biloba or whatever it is.
Yeah, biotin.
Yeah, biotin.
Protein.
All right, we got our next contest coming
up. Yay! We need a new contest.
All right. Any other details for volunteer firefighters that you want to put out there?
No, I just, I do want to give a shout out to our current volunteers and the amount of work they've put in as of recent this last, few months has just been totally incredible. Even just, I know that it didn't get a ton of press as far as the fire that we had here locally.
Yeah, why is that, Lloyd?
Yeah, Lloyd.
We were looking into it more deeper than just firefighters.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll accept that.
Just want to make sure.
but yeah, no, we spent a solid 2 weeks out there. There was a few departments that stayed a couple days to help us through the night patrol and firefighting efforts in the night. But the darn thing wouldn't go out. It was a never-ending nightmare.
And this is the one on the levee.
It was so dry out there.
It was, yeah. And so we had skeleton crew as it was, and a lot of our guys were out there for free helping, just volunteering their time. Whether they could come out for an hour or two or for a full 24-hour shift, they were out there working their butts off. So
because it's their home.
Yeah, and I just hope that next year maybe those who put that on realize that it wasn't a good idea to have it back at the river. There's a reason why it's been at the fairgrounds for the last couple of years. I think it would have been fine if
it was at the river, but you need to have controlled burns and stuff in that area. That back jungle area of the state park has not been manicured or maintained for so long. And if they even were able to let the fire people do like a controlled burn type learning thing, it might not have happened.
Yeah. That and because it is a state park, there's a lot of whole different rules.
There's a lot of red tape along with anything.
They find a nest that was from a bird that's been extinct, 500 years ago.
There are osprey there.
It's a bunch of red tape, like Logan said.
Yep. So hopefully next 4th of July, if it does happen at the levee again, that we'll take other, safeguards to make sure we're ready for it. Fortunately, now we have a lot of dozer trails that are cut in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have ways to access a
Thank
large
God we're
portion
a farm
of it.
country, huh?
Yeah. We had a couple dozer operators come out of, oh my goodness, I thought it was Maxwell or Princeton. If they're listening, I'd be surprised. But if they are, I'm sorry, I don't remember what town they were from. But they came out, and let me tell you, they did some impressive dozer work out there for us, and in a quick manner, too.
Do you have your association handing out thank you letters to these people?
I have not, which is very
Danielle's I will be there for you. I will be there for you.
Auxiliary.
That's all about me. Like I am all about
if you do that, you might get a badge.
Yeah.
You know, like I love.
I did make a joke about wanting to make fire T-shirts, the Colusa Fourth Fire or something. You know, because you go to these big, state fires, and there's T-shirt booths everywhere selling the fire T-shirts for that fire, and so that's kind of on my to-do list. Once everything slows down, is I do want to do like a
give it to
T-shirt that has everybody that helped, even though it's silly and kind of it'd be kind of cool to be able to have those and hand them out to people. But so everything's going really well. Fortunately, we were able to get the one per diem slot where that's kind of like a rotating position I can utilize any of my volunteers to fill in and help with that per diem funding. And it helps out a lot. Currently, I have, you asked about staffing, and I'll just cover it really quick. So career staff wise, I have 4 shift people. We don't have any secretarial or other admin help other than it's just myself and the 4 shift guys.
Wow.
They work 48 hours on shift and then 48 hours on call on the ambulance or transport unit. And then they have their 4 days off after that. So even though it seems like, oh, dang, they get 4 days off every rotation, it's not much. Your first day, you're dog tired and you just want to stay at home and have a beer.
You're sleeping the whole night.
Yeah. The second day, you're kind of getting to where you're rested. And then third day, you're having fun. And then by the fourth, you got to get ready to go back in shift. And that's if you're not responding to fires on your off days. Because a lot of times, especially the last couple of months, they don't have off days.
They go on strike.
Yeah, if I had my hours in front of me, it's an ungodly amount of hours in July that we had. It was close to 4,500 hours on the books.
Wow.
And that was just around the clock. So they're working their butts off with all the support from the volunteer group too. So,
well, thank God for your volunteer group.
And then,
that's wonderful.
Lastly, realistically, because obviously you're needing volunteers, and then obviously there's budgetary issues. What would you consider a full staffing for you? Because you said you have 4 plus you, so that's 5. Correct. How many would you actually need to say, hey, we're fully staffed?
Ideally, it would be 2 people on shift so that I could rotate my guys to where they're not pulling on call shifts. When they'd come in for their 48-hour shift and be off. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't have to be at home responding all the time on their off time. And by having 2 people on shift, there's a bond, a certain type of working environment they get when they work together day in, day out. It's seamless when they're working together. You don't even have to talk to each other. It's just that the other person is going to react in a certain way. And there's a big benefit to that as far as the safety concerns go also when you're operating in some of the events. Yeah.
You think up.
Yeah, you do. And we have that to a certain degree, but it's not to the extent that you would have if 2 people were on a shift together.
If you could have like 2 more positions full-time filled in your staff, would that be like ideal? Your department would be set?
Correct. Yeah. And there's different shift patterns you can run. I could even run a shift pattern with all per diem on one shift, and then the other 2 or 3 shifts I could run with full-time career. The one nice thing about having volunteers, it allows you to be very creative with your budgeting and how to utilize your personnel. And it benefits both parties. Volunteers, it's nice. If you can get paid $15 an hour for 24 hours, a few $100 in your pocket for a 24-hour shift, It's the one way that I can actually give a thank you to the volunteers for giving all their free time.
Yeah.
When they're there doing the shift person's work, they only deserve to get paid, in my opinion, especially when they take days off from their employment to help us.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's the only time that they get paid, and that's the other advantage of having per diem slot is those that are really active, you can have them cover, and there is some sort of incentive to compensate for that time.
Do we want to wrap up for the evening?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Before we go,
sure?
I do have one thing that I do want to say. First off, I want to say, it's almost 9/11 coming up pretty soon, and the 20-year anniversary. And
20 years?
Isn't it crazy?
20 years ago, we really counted on all of our firemen.
Oh, yeah. Amen.
To rescue us and to help that horrible tragedy. And then with what happened today, and losing 12 service members, or the other day, 13 service members. We just really can't thank these people enough for doing what they do. And I just think that monetary issues and stuff should not be overlooked when you're having safety.
Yep.
And lives at hand.
Absolutely.
You know, and that
what's
people
really
need
important.
What's really important? Do you really want, you know, a down home cook-off, or do you want, you know, your loved one saved?
Yeah.
It really does come down to that.
And that's, I don't know if you guys have noticed, with having all the COVID stuff happening, you know, nobody's really having much in the way of events. Most people. Yeah. So like with our association, we haven't been doing our crab feeds. We haven't had a lot of our, we haven't had our pancake breakfast.
However, the association is still sponsoring multiple kids for youth football and doing whatever they can to help out people in the community. So I got to say that too. That's really cool.
And we're looking into, I don't want to say what program we're looking into right now, but it is a sponsored program to help children that are less fortunate in school. The board of directors is working on a whole sponsorship type program that's going to be budgeted for an annual sponsorship for that kind of stuff. So, I mean, they're doing their best, and the community's been amazing supporting us. We've had a couple boot drives over the last couple of years, and
how much was that you guys ended up making?
I love me a good boot drive.
The last boot drive we had was strictly for the fire victims of the Dixie Fire, right? And I think the last numbers I saw on that was 12,000.
Oh, wow.
I know
amazing.
that they were still
you guys were only open there for like a couple hours.
Yeah. And every time we do any kind of fundraising like that, people come out of the woodwork. I mean, the 5th Street intersection is perfect because it's by the ATMs, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I've made jokes about it, but you'd be amazed how many people go in and they'll take $100 out of the ATM and throw it in the boot.
Throw it in the boot.
And $100, I mean, that's a significant amount of money. Yeah. And so for people to drive through or get out of their car, go to the ATM and get money to put in the boot, we couldn't thank those people enough. They really have been very supportive. And because of that, our association is still doing very well financially, despite not having as many fundraisers. So we're able to do those sponsorships.
I do know that you guys have been having a little bit of issues with like getting yourself staff and budgets and stuff like that. But I just wanted to let you guys know that we really thank you for everything that you do.
That's what we're here for.
Thank you, Logan.
Yep. Thank you so much, Logan, for coming on. And if you're interested in a career in firefighting or becoming a volunteer,
get sexy.
Throw that stash.
Volunteer as a firefighter, stop off at the Colusa Fire Department, or if you're not in this area, you're in Arbuckle, Williams, or wherever.
Go to your local
fire department and start volunteering.
Yeah, be a hero.
Go be a hero.
Volunteers. Our communities would not survive without volunteers, without, our nonprofits and all that kind of stuff. And, even though this is the city fire department, a lot of them, like Logan said, they have associations, which you can get involved with, helping them with fundraisings. That way they can do trainings and get these type things like the BLS, stuff for training equipment, uniforms, all that kinds of stuff.
A good example is we have that training tower that I don't know if you call it a tower. It's a 2-story training box.
It's a tower.
But that a lot of that was some of it was funded and purchased by the association, funds raised by them for that too. So if anyone wants to come look through it, you're more than welcome.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's cool. The walls.
We need a kids' day.
The walls move inside there. You can actually change the floor plan by moving different panels.
That's perfect for you guys for training.
It is. Yeah, we could put a firefighter in there, and he could stay in there all day, walking in circles or crawling in circles. But,
wow.
Do you make him do that?
No, we don't do it to him, but we could.
Circle team, but we could.
There's a reason why I'm not so excited about going in there with the guys running the props. They'll keep me in there for a while.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we'll wrap it up for the night.
All right.
Thank you, Logan, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll have to get those details out soon about the mustache off.
Yes. Oh my God,
I can't wait.
Stash off.
Are you going to be around? Firefighters?
Yes.
I'm so loving this show.
You're going to bring more in?
Yes.
That's horrible.
We need to get extra departments, too.
All right. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you for listening.
All right. Stay classy, Colusa.
'Cause now it's time to go.
Goodbye, friend.
Happy trails. I say, well, that's okay. Bye, everybody. Goodbye, good friends. Goodbye. And tomorrow. So long, stink tight. Don't forget to ride. Farewell. Bye for ya.
Thanks for listening. Like what we do? Share us on Facebook, Instagram, and tell all your friends to tune in. And don't forget to visit our website and show us some love at radiocolusa.com.